Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. You're at the spot, the place, where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on because the conversation starts now. Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. How are you today? I hope you're doing good. You're back at the spot, the place, where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Today we are traveling to Cyprus. Yes, we are going to be visiting with Tatiana Shukuroglou. I'm trying to get it right, Brains. Shukuroglou. Shukuroglou. Okay, I'm going to get a prize if I say it right. Say it one more time for me.
Shukuroglou.
Shukuroglou.
Mm,
Shukuroglou. Brains.
yeah,
I
yeah,
get a prize if I say that right. So I'm going to call her Tatiana. She is a
yeah.
wonderful woman and she's doing some special work. Some work that I think that we really need to talk about. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Parents and adult children, not the little people, but the people that they have evolved into. And I have some questions. There's some things I'm going to self disclose. You change. How do you accept, acknowledge, reward, recognize an adult versus a child? They'll always be your children, but now they have morphed into this adult. How do we, again, honor them where they are, but also get the respect that we deserve? Because I am not going to play sloppy seconds to my child. So we're going to go a little bit back and forth with that. Let's welcome her to the show. How are you, Tatiana?
I'm really fine. Thank you. How are you,
I'm
April?
good. I'm good. Thank you so much for being on the show. You know, this is an important topic because they've grown into adults. They're
Mm-hmm.
different people. And when is that adult? Is it at 18? A lot of times they think that it's at that magical number 18. That is not the magic number.
Well, no, it's not. It's the legal number,
It's
but
the
yeah.
legal number, but it's not there's a maturity level there. And if you treat or talk or respond or respect your child as a little person all
Mm-hmm.
along, it might be a little easier for you. So,
Yeah.
how did you find yourself, number one, in this zone of genius? Why did you pick this particular population to work with?
You mean the parents and adult children?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Well, first, um, I started as being a certified RTT therapist. No, first NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming, and then RTT. RTT is rapid transformational therapy,
Mhm.
which is a hybrid of NLP, hypnotherapy, CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. So what we do, we use hypnosis, actually communicating with the subconscious mind to find what the root cause of what is happening to you is. So we go to the root cause. So the reason why I'm now dealing or helping parents and their adult children is because of a challenge that I had to solve for myself. And then having done that, I realized that a lot of parents are going through this kind of challenges with their adult child. And what is that? It is um, well, lack of communication, but the deep communication. So what I mean is that, and maybe when I explain to you the challenge that I went through my son, you maybe you'll get a picture of what I mean. So I have two sons. The young one is 28 almost, and the other one is 34. But the 28-year-old one, when he was around 22, he came home late one night and he just opened up and said, I am not happy with my life. I actually wouldn't be here, but because I love you so much that I don't do what I want to do. So I was so shocked because I thought that was he was all happy and popular. I thought I was a present parent. I knew what was going on into his heart, into his life. And this is when I realized that I was seeing him or communicating with him with a not a clear lens, not a clear vision. And that was because I had my own issues, my own unresolved traumas from the past. And so it was as if I was looking through a blurred window. And I was, it's as if it's a metaphor I used that was really popular when I said it. But so imagine if you have a dirty window and then you take a dirty cloth to clear it.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't clean the window, you just mirror it more.
Right.
So so imagine if I have my the clear the dirty cloth is my heart, and the window is what is the eyes that I'm looking towards my child. So if I don't clear my heart, it's as if I'm just smearing the way I look at my child. So I had to go through therapy to clear all my own um, uh, issues that I had from my childhood. And this is when I could just look at him and accept my child as a different human being, not an extension of me, not as a person who came to finish whatever I had not been able to finish, and just to accept him with pure love. Um, and that having done that, I saw that a lot of parents um, have this kind of communication with their child. Even worse, I mean, they stop communicating, and um, and
Well,
it's
communication is a big $25 word. Okay.
mhm,
Communication can be visual, it can be audible, it can be
mhm,
destructive, it can be positive, it could be in writing, it could be nonverbal. There's a lot of things, and the love language. How do we? So I know, and I'm going to kind of dig into this a little bit. I know that you were doing the best that you
mhm,
knew how to do
yeah,
based upon your learning, your understanding, but also a level of ignorance. And ignorance only means not knowing. There's
yes.
something that you didn't know.
Mhm.
Um, was there another parent involved? Was his father involved?
Well, his father is around, yeah, but
Okay.
I'm yeah,
No, well, the
but he,
reason why I say that is because there's a different type of communication coming from there too. It's not all
yeah,
on you.
yeah, I know, and yeah, listen, this no one is to be blamed.
No, and
This,
it's not a blame.
yeah,
It's a discovery. I know my
mm-hmm,
daughter was she had a meltdown. She's 38 years old. She had a meltdown. She had just overexerted herself. And she called and she said, "I want a hug from my dad." Not
mm-hmm,
me, you know. And we're like peanut butter and jelly. She wanted her daddy. So I
mm-hmm,
understand. And then a woman raising a man
mm-hmm,
is a different type of love language, because the first person that your son fell in love with in a woman was you.
mm-hmm,
And there's a lot of expectations, there's a lot of rules as a female, as a mother, that we must follow. We have to carry ourselves a certain way. We have to suck up. We've got to take on an extra responsibility. So I'm not blaming anyone, but I'm just saying the messages that he is getting and the signals that he's getting to define who he is can be
mm-hmm,
convoluted sometimes. And then you got the outside world. All right, so
yeah,
you got all of this going on. He comes home, he tells you, "I'm not happy with my life and I'm
mm-hmm,
thinking about other options, but I
mm-hmm,
love you." So
mm-hmm,
that was strong. But
yeah,
where I'm missing it is that, how did you come back to the point that it was you that needed to get the therapy? I mean, I'm sure that he did his own work as well,
yeah,
but
of course.
where did you come into the fold and said, "You know what, this might be something that I am exhibiting"?
Yeah, I think it came like by mistake because I was also it was the time when I was training on RTT, so it was like 6 years ago. And when you do the RTT, you do a lot of inner healing. You do a therapy with other colleagues. So it was after going through sessions with other RTT colleagues that I was clearing and finding different, you know,
You just have a different awakening, a different awareness,
yeah,
aha
yeah,
moments.
exactly, exactly. And the more I cleared out from, the wounds from the past, the more I cleared out, better, the better I could sense or accept him as the human being that he came here to be. No expectations. I think that's it. We have to love them and accept them exactly the way they are and not expect anything. Just let them, love them, pray for them that God is looking after them, and just be there to show that you accept them. So I think this acceptance part is how what came after my inner clearing, after forgiving myself, after forgiving my mother,
Mhm.
after letting go of um, my own unresolved issues, and
So
that's where. Mhm,
let's give the brains an example. Gay children.
mhm,
That's that's a lot, okay? Because in some traditional families, a lot of traditional families, you expect for if there's a heterosexual relationship, you expect for that lineage to disseminate down to your children.
mhm,
And then you find that your child is gay. But
mhm,
not only that they're gay, they're transgender. They feel that
mhm,
they're in the wrong body. They're having these different experiences. So they come to you and they say, "Mom, Dad, I'm coming out. This is what I'm experiencing. This is what I'm feeling." Well, in all transparency, do you think they're just going to jump up and down and say, "Oh, goody. Okay, I accept this. Let's just go out and get ice cream." No, that's not the
mhm.
case because it is an unfamiliar
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
Okay. And that unfamiliar place triggers boundaries, triggers fears, triggers uh, uh, trapped emotions. So now you say, okay, acceptance. There is a process to go through this.
yeah,
Number one, you got to deal again with your own stuff. Okay.
yeah.
How do I personally feel about this? And then you have to jump and say, but it's not about me.
Uh-huh.
This is
Exactly.
about the person that I love. This is about the person that the Almighty has entrusted in me. And from what I've learned, God makes no mistakes. He makes no mistakes. So now you've got to deal with this child or this person that is morphed into something else. They've got to deal with society. They've got to
Mhm,
deal with how they're struggling with themselves internally, how they look, how they feel, who they want to be around, who's going to accept them. It's a whole lot going on. And
yeah,
then you've got them saying, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm not worthy. Maybe I'm not good enough. And then you have the conversation, and there's no way, parents, that you're going to tell me that you don't come to the left. Are you kidding me? This is something you'll grow out of. Oh, you're just having a moment. You're just having a phase. Oh, you're on drugs. You're on this. You're on that. And society's not going to accept you. It's a lot of noise. So, as a parent, you got a lot of pushback here.
yeah, yeah.
And then you say, okay, just accept and love. That's a big umbrella. That's a
Mhm.
big umbrella. And
Yeah, it
it can
is.
take years to get through that.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes you never get beyond that. But how do we help ourselves and help our child? Is that through conversation? Is that through therapy? Is that just ignoring what society says and just opening ourselves up to a new learning? Where do we begin, Tatiana?
Well, we begin with making as much space in our heart as
Okay.
possible to receive love. I mean, because come on, we come onto this earth with a pure, clear heart, a soul that God brought us here on earth, and then it just starts to fill in. From the moment we are created in our mom's womb, we start um, filling in our soul with all this negativity from outside, right? So I would say that we have to make praying or clearing our heart, make as much space as possible, going back to the as much to the beginning of the clear, pure heart, which is just pure love, and just give that to our child. I mean, our child needs just love and acceptance. But how do we do that? Is by cl clearing our heart,
Mhm.
letting out all the negativity, all going back to our center. That's what we say,
Right.
and create like a nice boundary around ourself, our heart, and not let any more negativity come,
Right.
any
But
negative energy from.
I say also learning to manage, you hear what I said, brains, manage our judgments, because we do have judgments and
Of
we do
course.
judge. And you're telling me a big fat lie if you say that you don't.
Oh,
Absolutely. We do,
yeah.
because we're human beings. But
Mhm,
that again is based upon our life experience, our journey, our epigenetic trauma.
exactly.
As me and Tatiana are of a particular age that when we were 4 or 5 years old, life dictated what we were going to be. You
Mhm,
had the pink dress, you had the patent leather shoes, you had the baby doll, you did not speak out of turn, you were always ladylike. Where boys were, you had the truck, you don't
mhm,
cry, you go out and
mhm.
work in the field, you work hard, you're the hunter and gatherer. So society has dictated, and we fall in line with that.
Yeah,
But as we have progressed in life, it's totally a polar opposite,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And so we struggle with that. And yes, we open up and we have to expand and hold space
yeah,
for our children, for our spouses, for ourselves,
yeah.
to allow ourselves to even feel those feelings. Because if that was the case, and we're still using the example of a gay child, just
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
that's a big issue.
it
But
is. Yeah,
but if we uh, open ourselves up to that, we also have to open ourselves up for the negativity that we feel, because there's a certain amount of shame. Why do I feel this way about my child? Or why is this my child? Or what are other people and family members going to say about my child?
yeah,
But the operative word here is mine. That's me. It's
yeah.
not about you.
There you go. Exactly.
And that's
Yeah,
that's a big moment to allow your child, and then have that conversation with them. How are you feeling? Or do you feel that you're enough? What is lacking? What can I do to support you, encourage you?
yeah.
Those are the kind of things. I
Mhm.
mean, I look at some of these celebrities, and I've worked in Hollywood, and I see how their children have such privilege that they can do whatever it is they want, and all they have to do is write a check. But the parents are not there. They're
Yeah,
not listening. The child says, okay, so now what can I do that's really over the top to get attention?
exactly.
And as they grow up, and they're in the world and they're trying to get this attention from the world to satisfy a need that they've never expressed, then it turns into something totally different. Okay,
Yeah,
so now you got the parent, you got the child that is disruptive. You got the child that's going to argue with you, that's going to challenge you. Uh, I don't know how I feel about that, because we're not going to go toe to toe. I am
yeah.
still your parent. I'm not your friend. I'm friendly, but I am still your parent, and I have a responsibility to be a guide, to be a mentor, to be a good example. How
Mhm.
do you deal with the person that's just really chaotic and feels that they're superior to you?
Well, I have cases, not just with a child being disrespectful, that and much more like they now live in their own houses and they just cut them off. They don't visit them, they don't call, they don't
Right.
answer their SMSs. I mean, that's really, really bad. It's like, so in cases like that, because the parent comes to me, and what I always say to my clients is that, we can never change somebody else, right? And in whatever case, you know that. I mean, you cannot change somebody else. The only person you can change is you. And then they said, but what? it's not me who's doing that. It's them who um uh, cut me off. It's not me. I'm trying. So so what I'm saying is that, okay, so let's see what's really going on inside your heart. And that's where we do also the RTT session, when we go and we search the childhood traumas, what happened. And because what happens is that this parent grew up carrying a load of childhood trauma, was never healed, was never resolved, and so he grows into an adult. He becomes a parent, and then the child grows up with them, and the child is like being loaded all this trauma, this bad energy from the parent, right? So what we have to do is clear the parent's heart, the parent's energy. And once this is done, then the child feels the difference, feels this clearing of the heart. I don't know if you get
I
it what
know,
I'm
I
saying.
totally get it because it's all energy.
Yeah.
However, where we can agree to disagree is
Mm-hmm.
that the child is also an individual. And at
Mm-hmm.
a certain point, they have had their own experiences outside of what we've done there in the home. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I get it. There's been abuses, there's been neglect, there's been alcoholism, there's been sexual trauma, there's been, maybe you've been a foster child, or maybe you're just totally disconnected. Maybe you just don't like your parents. That is a real possibility. But what I hear you saying is, I clear my heart as the parent,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not putting any responsibility on the other person. I understand that I can't change that person,
Yeah,
but
they have to change.
they
They
have to
have to.
change themselves, but they have a buy-in. So I'll give you a situation of someone that I know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Growed up with a step parent,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely adored the step parent. Them and the step parent had a great relationship. Okay. As they get older, things start to separate. And then people become combative, and people feel that there's certain obligations that are shared between biological versus extended family. It becomes convoluted. And then folks get angry. And when they get angry, they say, okay, well, you know what? Instead of arguing with you, I'm just going to cut you off because it's easier to do that. Well, it's easy to do if you just want to be a coward. But if you really want a clearing and you want a clean break, you'll have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It doesn't have to be cursing, it doesn't have to be disrespectful. Write a letter. I'm a letter writer, honey. That way I got your undivided attention when you're reading that letter. Okay? And then respond. But be open to the response that you get. I feel this way because blah 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 blah. And don't use semantics with me. Don't tell me, oh, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Take some ownership. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry that I make you feel that way. Is something that I have done that makes you feel that way? What is it that I can do to make you feel better? I'm here to see you. I'm here to hear you. Am I headed in the right direction, Tatiana?
Yeah, but you don't know if they're going to respond this way, right?
Okay, so
And
then that the earnest is on me because it's off of me at this point. Do
yeah,
I have an expectation, or I should not have an expectation of how they're going to respond?
well, yeah, well, the thing is that we have to know if the other person wants to reconnect. Okay, usually they don't want to reconnect for a certain amount of time because of this bad energy that has been created. So the parent or whoever decided to do the first step takes the responsibility to clear the energy, and then they make the first move, maybe the first call, the message or the letter, now with a clearer energy, and then you wait. Usually it I saw it happen. Usually when the energy is cleared, the response is better, the first one, and then the second one, and then the third one. Before the energy is cleared, there's still a lot of tension.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's it doesn't mean that it happens with all your children. I mean, I'll give you also an example. The parent with 2 or 3 children, they were all raised from the same parents, the
Hmm.
same situation, the same love, the same everything. But with one of them, it's like, like um, bad behavior. Oh,
But
and
all three of them are going to have a very different experience.
yeah, yeah, and it's also it's like when you if you have like the antenna we used to have these radios with antennas to get a signal.
Right.
So if you can picture this, so there's this antenna that sticks up from that particular child that with the mom's antenna is like goes like zzz, like this. With the other children, this antenna is maybe lower or it doesn't exist. So parent has to lower the antenna. What I mean, change the energy, change the signal.
So what you're saying pretty much is what I'm hearing is, again, it's an inside job. So
Yeah,
the parent has to work with them. Again, you
yes,
cannot control the outside. But
yeah,
what I'm saying is, okay, so now you want to bridge these two.
yes.
The child is open to the communication.
Uh-huh,
They've read the letter. They've
uh-huh,
written their own letter.
uh-huh.
And now, what do we do to heal? Because now we have to move forward. There may be grandchildren involved. There may be a sick parent that they want to reconnect with and bond with before they pass away. There may be secrets
Uh-huh.
of who the parent really is or trauma. All of these things. How do we come back together to unify
Well,
as a parent-child relationship?
first we heal. First we heal. I mean, first we clear. We clear and clear and clear and empty that energy channel that was filled with all this trauma, all this. So first is healing, and then take the first step, and then the second step, maybe some more healing, and then the third step, depending on how much healing or how much trauma there is there and how much distance this that has been created. It needs in its time to heal.
And so we heal with trust. That's an acronym that you have developed. Tell us
Yes.
about the TRUST.
Okay. Trust is my program, and each letter of the word trust is a module of my program. So the first T is the first talk to me, talk it out loud. So the client comes to me and he just tells me whatever is going on with their life now, right now. And then the R, after I've I've heard the whole story, so we then go to the R, which is okay. What is it that you need to release? What's this negative feeling? What's this negative behavior? What is it that you need to release and maybe acquire? And then once we decide what it is that we need to release, we do the U, which is the uncover. That's when we do the RTT session and we do the hypnosis and we go and find out when this kind of block that we need to release was created in the past. And then the S is the self-love and self-acceptance, because this is what's been going on, when you don't love yourself, when you don't accept yourself because of the trauma. And then the last T is after you have cleared your inner self, you can now talk to your child with this new energy. And we do that usually like a visualization. We do like some role play, how you're going to talk to your child now with your clear energy and clear heart.
And so you have to, again, do the work because I had a situation to where, and I know you guys can tell that I'm a strong energy, okay? And I kind of went in 10 toes down on my daughter. And I really didn't realize that she was that vulnerable. It
Mhm.
really impacted her. It really impacted her, which that was the goal. I'm sorry, I'm being honest.
Mhm.
But I didn't want it to impact her to the point where it traumatized her.
Mhm.
And I was teetering on that line. And so now, if I get full of myself, again, me, I take a step back, consider, and remember how this impacted her, how those
Mhm.
words might have impacted her, how my emotion, my rage, my voice inflection. So now I have a different strategy.
Mhm.
And this strategy is even better
Mhm.
because when I come to her completely opposite that I did before, now she's really concerned. But yeah, she's like, oh, where is she coming from? I don't know. Who is this person? But it makes her think. It makes her stop and pause. This is not how mom normally reacts to this situation. I'm more calm. And then when I have to roar up, she understands why. And again, she's 38 years old. I know my mother, this is a cute little story. Me and some girlfriends were in the backyard, and I was in my 50s. And my mother lived here with us, and we were drinking, we were liquored up, and I tell you, we had some filthy mouths. We were cursing up a storm and all this kind of stuff. And so my mother called me in the house. She says, April, would you come here? I need to speak to you for a minute. And I said, okay. And she sat me there. She says, I'm sorry to take you away from your guests. She said, but who are those people in the backyard? I said, oh, they're some of my lady friends. She said, those are no ladies. She said, the filth that's coming out of you guys' mouth back there and the cackling, she said, that's not ladylike. I didn't raise you to do that. When you use those words, you're going to battle. She says, and that's not, I don't appreciate that. And I tell you, you talk about shrinking.
Mhm.
I mean, she had just blew all that vodka that we had that afternoon. I felt small, but I thought about it. And here I am, 63. I still think about it. I
Yeah.
still think about the words that I use casually, you know,
Yeah.
what comes out of my mouth, what
Mhm.
lays on my tongue. And so, again, no matter how old you are, you can still learn from your parents.
Okay, yeah, definitely you do learn from your parents, whatever age, but that came at a time where you were okay with yourself, and it came from her with being clear in her heart. Had it been from a parent who already was, full of rage, full of negativity, it would come to you differently. You would receive it
Mhm,
definitely differently. But you
mhm.
were both in this position, in this energy, or in this vibe that you could take it from her, right?
Well, not
So
really. I was liquored up.
I'm talking, I'm talking about the inner
maybe,
energy.
maybe, maybe that's why I took it as calm as I did. But I was shocked. I was
Yeah.
shocked, and I think the biggest shocker was, and the biggest aha moment was, is I was so happy. Number one, that she still cared enough to rear me at that
Yeah.
age, and that I was open enough to receive it, and I felt it, and I acted appropriately with it. That
Hmm.
was huge for me.
Yeah.
And so when I thought about that, again, dealing with the situation of my daughter, I had to take that into consideration. I said, you know what? Because is she open enough to receive it? Can she receive it? What is the delivery? So as you said, it's very important. Where was I in that, and where was my
Hmm.
mother in that? That's
Yeah.
huge. But also, let's talk a little bit about grief, because grief, you have to mourn these things. And grief is not just the death of someone, it's the death of a situation, your
Yes.
finance, your pain, your anxiety, your relationships. Grief is a big word, like communication.
Hmm.
How do we grieve this for ourselves as the parent? You go through this, you get this awakening, you go through the RTT, but you also have to let that die. You have to let that live in another place. How do we do that?
You, well, if I understand correctly, what your question is, if it's something that you have to let go,
Right.
during the session of RTT, when you're still in hypnosis and you're sort of dealing with that event of the past, you transcend it, or you give it a different meaning, or you give it a different role, and then you let it go. You either give it a different meaning or a different role, and
So
you
you
let
can
it go.
reframe it with
You
the
can reframe
NLP.
it.
You can
Yes,
reframe it.
yeah. Well, or RTT, yeah. During hypnosis, the NLP is something that you do like also in your conscious, in your logical mind. With RTT, where you do the hypnosis, it's mostly in your subconscious.
Mm.
So you find that particular incident that you're grieving or you have to let go. You find it, you give it you acknowledge it, and then you might just let it go or give it a different meaning or a different role.
Okay. All right. So now we've done the deep dive. Let's release the energy and let's have some fun. How about that?
Mhm. Yeah,
So
yeah.
both you and I love the Beatles. What is your favorite Beatles song?
Um, I like the one with of John Lennon, which is yeah. I'm not a I don't know all the songs of the
Okay.
Beatles. It's actually my son's
Oh, okay.
poster. Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, lately I listened to one of John Lennon. Imagine.
Imagine.
Yeah,
Oh, I love
imagine.
that. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah. It's so touching. Yes. Yeah.
I like
Uh,
Abbey Road. I do.
mm,
A Strawberry Lane. My
yeah.
brother sang with the Beatles. Uh,
Really?
yes, he did. Billy Preston was considered the fifth Beatle, and so my brother went to London with them to do some background work. So that's important. What do
Great.
you do for yourself? What do you do to reward and recognize and love on yourself?
That's an interesting question. Okay, well, in the more I love waking up early and walking in the park. I'm just can't wait for it to be colder because it's still not very cold here, but I like to walk in the park and just, see the trees, listen to the birds. I like this. It's really nice. Uh, that's a that's a nice reward for myself. And then yeah, going to the beach when I have the time, um, meeting with friends. And yeah, there's a lot. I'm in different associations that we help out, doing a lot of volunteering. We
Oh,
help out a lot. Yes.
that's beautiful. You seem like a
Yeah.
very giving person. If I came to visit you there in
Mhm,
Cyprus, where would you
mhm.
take me?
I would take you to Paphos. We have a very nice summer house on the beach.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay, good. Uh, if I asked you to cook me a meal, what would it
Uh-huh.
consist of?
Do you like meat?
Yes.
Okay. So we have it's a very local not dish, but they cook meat on the skewers, either big pieces
Mm,
of lamb or pork or smaller ones, and they get cooked over charcoal. I mean, so
okay,
you
like a
burn.
shish kebab.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's very Cypriot food if you like meat.
Do you
Yeah.
eat a lot of potatoes, rice, couscous? What is it that what is your carbohydrate there?
Uh, we have a lot of potatoes. Yeah,
A lot
we
of
have
potato.
really nice potatoes here. Yes.
So we're
Mhm.
still in the kitchen. If you were an appliance in that very same kitchen, Tatiana, what appliance would you be and why?
Hmm. Wow. It's the first time I've been asked this question.
Mhm.
If I were an appliance in the kitchen, I would be the fire.
Oh, why?
Hmm. Why? Because fire can cook, fire can warm you up, fire can although I hate, you know what? Why did I say that? I'm so much afraid of fire. Really afraid of fire, so I don't know why
Well,
this came
maybe
up.
maybe that's why. Maybe it's a subliminal message. You know what I'd be? I'd be
What?
the refrigerator. because it's nice, it's cool. You come to me
Yeah,
often and regularly. You come to me every day for something that you need. I can preserve things, I can
yeah,
freeze. So I think I would do that. If you
yeah.
could time travel and you could go
Mhm.
back to the past, stay here in the present, project to the future, where would you land?
S- So you're asking me if I would go to the past or the future?
Yeah, if you were, or stay here in the present, where would you land?
S- So you gave me an option of either the past or the future or the present, and where would I land?
Right. If you could time travel, if you could go through
Yeah,
time and pick
yeah.
where you wanted to land,
Mm-hmm.
would you go back to the past? Would you stay here in the present?
Ah,
Or would you move to the future?
I would stay here in the present. Safe. I know how it is. I have my loved ones. Everything is because everything is okay.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
What would you say to a parent that is struggling right now with their adult child? What encouragement would you give them and where would you tell them to begin?
To begin with themselves, with their with their inner selves, to clear the energy, heal whatever it needs to be healed from the past, love and accept themselves, and then love and accept their child. Make space in their heart for love, because it's probably past wounds and past negativity that's keeping this energy around them, that's blocking them or keeping the distance with their child. So clear their energy and make space for love and acceptance.
Let me ask you one other question. Is it okay to keep the distance? If there's a mutual understanding, we just we agree to disagree, but when we're together, we're disagreeable. Is it okay to
It is
set that?
okay. Yeah, it is okay if they're not hurting. If both of them are not hurting and they're okay with that, keeping a distance and just having, like a chat or a call every now and then, but they're both happy and not hurting, then yes. But if they're hurting, then it's hurting and feeling sad is not good for your physical health either. So if you're okay with that and you're not hurting, then it's okay.
Okay, so brains, it's okay. You don't have to live with guilt. You don't have to live with shame. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to live in pain if you
Mm-hmm.
open yourself up, if
Mm-hmm.
you are mature enough on both sides to agree to disagree and not be disagreeable.
Mm-hmm.
Just sometimes it's just not an alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to grieve situations and have to let them go and bury the pain and the hurt. But also, there's times that you want to reconnect, that you want to have that conversation, that you
Mm-hmm.
want to learn about the other person, that you have to allow yourself to be open, honest, and vulnerable, that you have to accept responsibility for your contribution to the relationship, good, bad, or different.
Mm-hmm.
Work with someone like Tatiana who understands that is a third neutral party that is not there to judge, but to facilitate, to be that open ear, to be that conversation piece, whether you're working on yourself or if your child is open enough to join in with you. But again, the healing is an inside job. It starts with you. Thank you so much, Tatiana. Please tell my brains how to get in contact with you. I'd love for them to do a Zoom call with you, and or if they're there in Cyprus, to go and have some shish kebabs and talk about it.
Yeah. So, well, they can find me on Facebook with my name Tatiana Shukuroglou. I also have a professional Facebook page which is called Take Care of Your Thoughts. And I'm also on Instagram and LinkedIn with my name, Tatiana Shukuroglu. So I could probably, I don't know, write them somewhere for you and
Oh no,
share.
I'm gonna definitely, because again,
Mm.
I had a problem saying Shakuta Group. But now
Yeah,
we are going to spell it out. I want people to reach out to you because this is a
thank you.
very, very sensitive situation,
Mm.
and people feel that they have to feel a certain kind of way. You have to be authentic with your feelings.
Yes.
And everybody's not going to accept everything, everybody's not going to understand everything, but you can open up your heart
Yes.
and try to heal. Go
Heal.
in, love, like, share, and subscribe here on The Edge. Love, like, share, and subscribe. Share this with other people that you see have a challenge. It may not be you at this particular time, or it might have been you, but there's always hope. Love, wisdom, and understanding here on The Edge. Thank you so much, Tatiana. You are a gift.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. April.
Absolutely. Bye, brains. Have a good day.